Yeah.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Tipsy Informants.
What's up, viewers?
You got Kelly.
I'm Jordan.
And today we're going to be talking about SPACEX. Woohoo!
SPACEX.
But first, on a more serious note, we wanted to, address everything that's happening right now. We just didn't feel like it would be right to post a video and not say something.
Yes.
So
I found something.
Yeah, he found
that
it.
was pretty good. That was
Yeah.
posted on Instagram by the comedian Kevin Hart. You can find him at Kevin Hart for real, R-E-A-L. He posted something that the governor Gavin Newsom from California said, quote, "The black community is not responsible for what's happening in this country right now. We are. Our institutions are responsible. We are accountable to this moment. Let's just call that out." So the governor said that, and then Kevin Hart said, this whole thing is powerful, which I agree. And Kelly agrees too, because I read this to her before we even started recording. He says, "More governors and mayors need to follow this lead. Take accountability and be part of the change. We need new laws. We all know that the system is flawed. Let's take action and create the change. Enough is enough." And Kelly and I were trying to figure out a way of us putting our heads together and saying something. And then I came across that and I was like, you know what, that's kind of a perfect summary of what we were talking about.
Yeah, it really is, and I agree completely with that statement. The biggest thing that needs to happen right now is, we need equality for all and equality for black people and black rights, and the biggest thing that needs to change is the laws. There needs to be an extreme, reform with the police department, with the justice system. It's crazy.
You know what? It really comes down to, love is the key. Take that key, unlock the door to it all.
Yep.
That's the key. But that's what we wanted to say for our little introduction, saying something about what's been going on.
Yeah. I guess the biggest thing we want to say is we're supportive of what's happening, and I'm gonna post some images and stuff of some petitions you guys can sign, or things that you want to donate to, or I'll probably look up some other really good messages from people who are really good at expressing themselves when it comes to this, just to kind of put our thoughts out there in a more organized fashion.
Yeah, I agree.
That makes sense.
But yeah, so with that being said, I guess we'll continue on to our topic of the day, which Kelly said is SPACEX.
Yes.
And
on a more positive note. Yeah.
So I don't know if you can see between our chairs that we have a little something. This is the Tipsy rocket. So through reading about SpaceX and watching the rockets and doing research and all that stuff, we said, you know what, we're just gonna make one. We bought a kit, we put it together, and we're going to be launching that at the end of our episode today.
Doing a rocket launch, which I've never done before,
Kelly's
so I'm really excited.
Yeah, I used to do them with my mom as a kid.
Which is really cool. And I didn't know that it was going to be the way that it is. There's a whole explosive and everything that shoots it off.
Cheers.
And cheers. I had no clue that that's what it was like. So I'm very excited.
All right. Do you guys out there have your drinks and stuff?
Yep,
all
get
ready
your drinks
to go?
ready.
Yep. And
you want to just hop right into it?
Sure.
You got your, I was going to say, you got your little iPad.
It's on this side. My little one.
Yeah, it's so little.
Yeah, I got it from my mom. She didn't want it
And
anymore.
so I guess I'll just start with the full name. So SpaceX stands for Space Exploration. Wow.
Space Exploration Technologies Corporation.
Thank you.
You're having a little flubby today.
I
with
don't.
the-
Yeah, that kept
blah, blah,
happening
blah,
to me
blah.
yesterday too. I kept stumbling over my words.
That's okay.
I don't know what's going on.
That's
There's
all
a
right.
lot of thoughts going on in my head the past week. So
Yeah. But yeah, the full name of it is Space Exploration Technologies Corporation.
bam.
You can continue with the start.
So it was founded in 2002 by Elon Musk, and it is an American aerospace company,
Correct.
which I didn't realize that it had started in 2002. I thought it was something over the past, I don't know, maybe like
No.
5-10 years, but it's been around
No,
for a little
18.
while. Yeah.
18 years.
It's the first private company to successfully launch and return a spacecraft to and from Earth's orbit. And it's also the first private company to dock a spacecraft with the International Space Station.
Right.
You had a really cool fact that you told me about Elon Musk yesterday, which I
about
don't think
the-
many people know.
Oh, about how he was a co-creator of PayPal?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
thought that
so
was pretty
Elon
awesome.
Musk was a co-creator of PayPal.
Yeah.
Never knew that.
Yeah. I learned that like a while ago. And then I just was like, okay, so he created, he was co-creator of PayPal, and then he sold it, which gave him a lot of money, and that's when he kind of always had the vision of doing the whole space thing.
Yeah.
But then that's when it changed to, I want to do it, to I can do it.
Yeah, to a reality.
So then he started up the private corporation, and here we are.
Very cool. So as many of you, if not all of you know, SpaceX is just had a big successful launch.
Yep.
We can, if we want, we can talk about that, and then we can kind of go.
Yep, we
Back to the beginnings a
successfully
little
launched
bit.
2 people into orbit
Yeah, so they were
to get to the International Space Station.
2 former NASA.
And,
I can't
and
speak.
There are 2 former NASA astronauts.
Yes.
Is that what you were trying to say?
Yes. So it's Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley.
Yep.
And you know what's really cool
Oh,
too
and
is
they
they're
took the
best
dinosaur with them.
friends. Yeah, like a little.
The little one of his one of his sons.
Yeah.
I forget which guy, but he took his son's little dinosaur into space.
Like,
and, he's
because
like
I
that.
guess what astronauts do is they always have a token that they fly with.
Yep.
So when they first, reach 0 gravity, they
Mhm.
throw it up in the air.
I think Elon Musk sent up a car.
Yeah, he did. Elon Musk
A car
put
that
a
both of
Tesla
his,
car into orbit around the sun.
both of his sons he's driven both of his sons in that car, and he sent the car.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
He has 2 kids.
Yeah.
Well, he must have 3 now because he just had.
Oh,
A kid.
So he has 3. I think he was married twice.
Oh, I didn't know that. That makes sense though.
It does? Doesn't
I
it make
guess
sense?
so.
2 wives.
Yeah, he's super rich tech guy.
Yeah, super rich.
I can imagine
super
him
rich
getting married and having kids. I can also imagine him getting divorced because he's.
Yeah, but
I feel like geniuses
he
a lot to handle.
He is a strange character.
Yeah.
But that's why he's so awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
and
have
that's
you ever
why
heard
he has
his-
such
if-
amazing visions that he's
All the time.
actually doing.
All the time.
Yeah.
It never. I don't know if you guys saw the Joe Rogan interview with Elon Musk, or if you guys have ever watched an interview that, like TEDx or whatever they were doing
Like
something.
the TED Talk.
Yeah, and he was TED Talk, not TEDx. I thought it was TEDx, but I'm wrong. He was doing an interview with a couple of those people, and he's just like this. His mind never stops, which he considers a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
But he's super sarcastic, and he's just a funny, weird, creative, strange individual,
Yeah.
which is amazing because the guy's brilliant. And anything that, after PayPal, he had all this money, so he assembled the team.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's a lot of money. A lot of money going on in there.
So he created the company with really the idea of making space flight affordable. He wants to make it a more common thing affordable in a sense, obviously not affordable to the middle class, but if you're upper class and above,
Yeah.
it's affordable.
That rocket he launched was like 65 million, and since most of it is recyclable, I think the next one they're going to be able to launch for, instead of 65 million, they'll probably be able to do it for I think like 65,000.
That's amazing.
And when people are going, I noticed in your notes when we'll get there, sending people there, but
Yeah.
his, like, the price he was going to put on sending people there was, I think, $500 per pound.
I think right now
So it's like if you weigh 200
on the
it's like
website
100,000 to go.
to Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think eventually when he wants to bring people to Mars, that's gonna be cheaper. But
Yeah.
as of right now, like in the next couple years, he wants people to be able to, I think, fly up to the space station or just take like
A flight.
basically flights into space,
Yeah.
and that'll be starting point is $1 million.
It's like,
but
it's
you
like,
can book it now. Like if you go on the website, I don't know
Oh,
if
really?
you saw.
you can book it.
Yeah, you can literally book it. But the starting price on the website is $1 million. I'm pretty sure. And
Think of how
if
many-
I'm remembering correctly.
Think of how many people have just $1 million to spend.
And then I think it's like $1,000 or something like that, or maybe, I don't know. It's something where it's like $1 million is the starting rate for
Okay.
like 200 kilograms or something like that, and then
Okay.
for each extra kilogram, it's like a certain
Yeah.
dollar amount added on.
Yeah.
But so that's what I mean, where it's like it's going to be affordable for wealthy people, but it's still
Well, if you do,
it's still affordable compared to, like what you were saying, $65 million
Yeah.
to launch one rocket into space.
Uh-huh.
You know.
and get, I mean, the funding is astronomical.
Yeah.
So,
So
you
it's
got,
affordable for what it's going to be affordable for what it is and what it normally costs.
Yeah.
And the way that he's doing that is SpaceX is putting a focus on reusable engines and rockets. So they're taking the most expensive parts of the rockets and making them out of materials where it can re-enter the Earth and then be relaunched and kind of
Same thing.
able to do that over and over again.
Over and over again.
Which is amazing. That's how it should be. I think that's what the space shuttle was kind of like before it was decommissioned, right?
Not
Like
sure.
it would be able to...
I don't think so.
No?
I think each launch was its own separate launch. I'm not sure
Was
if
its
they,
own
I
separate,
don't-
like,
yeah. I don't think they.
spacecraft?
I'm not sure if they reused anything.
Oh. Maybe I just
ooh,
thought it was because like the
butterfly.
name of it. I know that butterfly's really pretty.
Cool. Moving on.
You want to talk about the Falcon
Yes.
one? Now that we're caught up?
Yep. Now that we're caught up.
Okay.
Pump it up.
So the Falcon 1,
Yep.
we're just kind of going through like a background of SpaceX, and then we'll get into like the fun discussion stuff like going to Mars and all that shit. So bear with us.
Mars.
But so the first rocket from SpaceX was the Falcon 1, and it was made to send small satellites into orbit, and it was massively cheaper to build and operate than most of the spacecraft, which was previously made by Lockheed Martin and Boeing. Which I
Lockheed
just invested
Martin.
like $5 into Boeing.
What? If you,
Yeah,
what if you did 100? Put $100
it's not worth that much money. I was thinking Boeing was like jets, not spacecraft before.
Boeing was created by, wasn't Elon part of the creation of Boeing?
I have no clue,
Yeah.
but I didn't realize it was spacecraft when I invested. I was thinking it was airplanes.
It sounds like airplanes.
So I was like,
Well, I mean, Boeing 747,
so they do both then?
but is it Boeing or boring?
No, it's Boeing.
Boeing, and then isn't there like a boring?
I don't think so.
No?
No. But
Moving
I was
on.
like, oh, their stock is probably just down right now because like there's no travel, so like, you know, plane stock is probably down, but then once travel starts back up, the stock will shoot up. But I downloaded this app called Stash where you
Yep,
can
I've heard of
invest
it.
like small amounts and stuff.
What are you invested in?
I'm
Are
in
you-
oh,
are
it's on
you-
my phone, but
Or
I'm
do you not want to say?
no, I'll say. So I actually, when I look at it, I don't just invest randomly. I actually was like spent like hours. It's not as much as an actual stock person, but I'm not a stock person. So I spent like a couple hours though, like looking through like all of the companies they have on there, because they have like different categories and stuff. So you can click on each category and look through all the companies that they have, because
Right.
they have a good amount, but they don't have, I don't think they have as many companies as like Robinhood or whatever. But so
Yeah,
I-
the Boring Company.
is that
It's
Plains?
the Geotechnical Engineering Subterranean Product Development.
Oh,
Its
I've never heard of it.
founder is Elon Musk.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
that's why I was like, because they have a boring test tunnel.
Oh, cool.
So, just saying, I wasn't wrong.
No, you're very right, and that was actually founded by Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah, word.
But yeah, so I actually spent a good amount of time like looking through all the stocks, and then it's cool because when you click on a company, you can look at how the stock is like done from like a week, a month, a year, 5 years, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing that with every single stock before I invested, and then I would actually Google the company and like look up news articles about it and stuff to see like, I don't know, if like the Wall Street or whatever other like online articles that have to do with stocks and stuff, if they were saying it was good to invest in it or not. So I did that for like each company before I invested. So I invested in this one called Unlimited, like SEA Unlimited, and they have to do with, I forget, but that stock of mine is actually doing pretty good. And they have to do with, I think, like voice recognition technology, maybe something like that.
So you're doing
And
pretty
a-
well. Like
and a
you're
couple
gonna buy
other
a new-
things.
You're gonna buy a new car soon.
No,
Or are you doing?
I'm
or you're
doing well as
pretty
in like
well?
I've made
It's
like $2 in the past
okay.
week.
$2. That's not
Yeah.
bad.
So no, because I don't invest, like I don't have a ton of
You
money
don't have
to invest in.
$100,000 to fucking
Yeah,
put in
so
and
I'm
stuff.
investing, because they let you invest however much you want into, I don't know what it's called, maybe like micro stocks or something like that, I don't know. And I think I'm making that term up. But they basically
Micro
allow
stocks?
you to invest like
Isn't that
however
like-
much you want.
Like penny investing or something.
I think so.
Or like
Something like
you
that.
Getting into the cryptocurrency and the,
I don't
and
know.
the Bitcoin. And
No,
all
not
jazz?
that.
Oh, okay.
But it's basically like you can just decide however much you want to invest instead of having to buy like one full stock at once.
Okay.
Like Amazon is probably worth like, their stock's probably like $1,000 a piece. So like if you wanted, you could, buy $5 worth of a stock of Amazon.
So I just
Which is
read
what
on
I did
here.
with Boeing.
Yeah. So for boring,
Yeah.
the one thing I'll read is Elon Musk has cited difficulty with Los Angeles traffic and limitations to the current two-dimensional transportation network as inspiration for the project.
So wait, does boring have to do with maybe the Tesla
It was-
like auto?
Yeah, it was initially formed
Like what is
as a
that called again?
subsidiary-
Auto?
mobile.
No, not automobile. Like when
What?
autopilot,
Autopilot. Yeah.
because
Third.
like some Teslas have autopilot.
Yeah.
So maybe it has to do with that.
It actually says that the first 3 boring machines used by the Boring Company are actual boring machines.
Oh, like boring into
So
the ground.
so like tunnel making.
That's interesting. You think he's trying to
A
come up with some sort of like
ga-
subway system or something?
Something like that.
Damn, Tesla's gonna be like
Yeah.
ruling the
This
world.
says there's one that's called the Gadget, a conventional tunnel boring machine used by Canadian company Lovat, which is used for research purposes. Lionstorm, a highly modified conventional boring machine. Elon Musk estimated in a tweet that the line would be active in a month or so, and that was in February 2019. So
Cool.
they have a couple different boring machines, I guess, to make different ways.
So I guess
of
if you're looking for a
transportation.
company to invest in, maybe this one.
Maybe that one. You got to do a little more research.
Yeah.
And stuff. If you think of tunnels going 10, 20, 30 layers deep or more, it is obvious that going 3D down will encompass the needs of any city's transportation of arbitrary size. Elon Musk. I wish that would be put into a way of a 15-year-old understanding it, because I'm kind of confused. But I think it just means that...
I think it just means that if you can basically create a tunnel system for all cities
Yes.
that could,
That's quicker and more efficient.
yeah, quicker and more efficient, I'm guessing.
It's like a,
because that's
it's
kind
like
of
a rocket
his
underground.
jam. Yeah, well, that's what, like, in China they have
dude, they're
that like
fast.
super fast train. So
Yeah.
he probably wants to develop stuff like that, and it'll probably
Absolutely.
be a lot like more like clean
Yeah.
energy
But
and
that's
stuff.
what it's saying. His mind is constantly going. And
Yeah.
some ideas are not too good, and some ideas are like, hey, wait a minute, we got something.
And doing it underground too, you're not really
Exactly,
gonna
yeah.
mess with any of the structures
It'll-
above ground.
But it'll probably also be more efficient because, I mean, let's think about, like, you know,
They can just go straight to places instead of having to go around all these buildings and structures and stuff.
yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out.
Is that
for
what you were thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking a bunch of things now, but I want to get back to our
Yeah,
list.
that's really interesting though.
That's what we do.
Yeah. Okay,
hear
Falcon
me?
1. Okay. So yeah, it was
Yep.
made to send small satellites into orbit, and then SpaceX developed the Merlin engine, which was the main reason why the rocket was so much cheaper. I don't know exactly why, but I think it's because of the materials that were used to make it and the way that
Merlin?
the Merlin engine.
The Merlin engine?
Yeah, I tried to research it. We're not rocket scientists, so when we were talking about it, we were like, we're gonna do a little bit of
We are
background into
rocket
the space.
scientists,
We
so-
are. We're gonna do a little bit of background into the spacecraft, but not
Yes.
like. I'm not gonna explain too much, but I did get this, and
What'd you get?
okay. So, the Merlin engine operates using rocket propellant, so basically like rocket fuel
Mm-hmm.
and liquid nitrogen in a gas generator power cycle. So basically what happens is the rocket fuel is burned
Yeah.
up in like the propeller going super fast, and as it gets burned up it releases hot gas, which is
Rocket
used
fuel.
to power the engine.
There has got to be some kind of visual reconstruction of how it all works.
Yeah, we could probably put some picture in.
Yeah, maybe we'll
Put a
it, like,
picture in.
yeah, somewhere.
Or you
Maybe
can,
like
or you can
here
research about it if you.
or over
But
there.
it's very technical, so it
It
was.
is very technical.
yeah.
That's what.
I don't really know either, but I think most of their engines have two parts. So they have that part I just explained,
Mhm.
which is what launches it.
Mhm. The
and-
propellant.
Yeah, basically gets it up there, and then once they reach a certain point, a second engine
Yeah,
kicks
because
in,
that
and it's
one
like
breaks
a
away.
yeah,
doesn't
and
it?
it's like a vacuum
Okay.
engine. So I don't really know how that works. I'm guessing it
We're learning.
sucks air in, and
You know what?
you know.
18 years
vacuum.
of SpaceX, and we're just slowly kind of catching up to the technology and
Yeah.
trying to understand it.
So the first attempt to
I mean,
launch this,
The good part is we're interested.
yes, was in 2006,
Yep.
and the launch was actually canceled after a fuel leak and a fire. And then the next few attempts actually failed as well.
Damn it.
Yeah, until 2008. It didn't take them long though. From 2002 to 2008, they were,
Mhm.
6 years, and they had their first successful launch, and they launched Falcon 1 into orbit. And after that, they received a $1 billion contract from NASA, and that's basically, $1 billion, and that's basically the money that they used to create the Falcon 9,
Mm-hmm.
which was just launched because NASA was no longer building their own spacecraft. So they're trying to hire outside companies, and they hired,
Well, yeah, because
um,
outside companies are far easier to do
yeah.
with than
There's
government
probably,
agencies.
exactly, because NASA is a government agency, it's probably a lot harder for them to, it's
Oh,
probably
yeah.
easier, like you were saying, just to give them their money to someone
Mhm.
else who will have probably less restrictions,
Yep.
and will be able to probably hire smarter. Not that a lot of people in NASA are very smart, but I feel like private contractors, there's
Mhm.
just a little bit more
There-
wiggle room.
Yeah, there is more wiggle room and less contracts and less
Yeah.
like just
Bullshit.
meh.
Yeah, so they gave them $1 billion contract to build spacecraft that would be able to bring astronauts to the International Space Station, which SpaceX did.
Do you know why Falcon 9 was named Falcon 9?
Tell us, Jordan.
Your notes tell us. 9 engines. Didn't the new one have like 24?
The one that they're going to be building, I think, yeah.
Yeah, they have to simultaneously ignite all at once.
Yeah.
That's a lot of wiring.
It's going to be crazy. I don't think they've it's not fully done yet.
No.
But they built like prototypes. But yeah, so the Falcon 9, that was what was launched the other day. And it was a successful launch, which is amazing. And
you know what's so cool?
what?
The launch being, successful and everything, but them like landing the exterior parts on individual places in the ocean.
Oh yeah,
That's so cool.
So
That's the reusable part.
yeah, the reusable part that Jordan's talking about, Tesla basically invented these like drone ships that does it find where the thing's gonna land, or does the thing that's landing find the drone ship?
I would think it's a little bit of both,
Yeah,
but I'm
probably.
not 100% sure. I would think that since they're like ships, like the coordinates, like they would move
And kind of in
together
sync.
instead of the rocket just going here.
Yeah, that
Because it
makes
might be hard.
probably
for it
makes more
to-
sense for the drone ship to move
drone
towards
ship
the
to
rocket.
move towards where the rocket is, and then they both come
Yeah.
down like that.
So the reusable parts, they're able to be reused because they don't just like break off in the atmosphere and then get
then
dropped randomly in the
burnt up
ocean.
or whatever.
Tesla invented these drone ships that basically will find where it's going to land, and essentially they catch it.
When those full parts used to land in the ocean and sink, they considered it creating a new habitat for fish life and ocean life.
Really?
Yeah, because some of the parts would sink, and they considered it like a new ecosystem for like the fish and
Because they would like build up around it and stuff.
Well, yeah, it would fall where it would fall, and then fish are like, oh, okay, let's make our house there, whatever.
Yeah, that
whatever.
makes sense.
I mean, that's
Yeah, because a lot of
little ecosystem down there.
yeah, I feel like a lot of sea plant life tends
Yes.
to grow on
Everything.
like surfaces and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
like everything.
Well, that's why it's hard
Barnacles.
for barnacles. That's why it's hard for a lot of people who are trying to do archaeology under the water, is because you have to basically get permission in order, because you're not really supposed to be able to disturb the plant life, so it's really hard sometimes for them to excavate, because they would have to like kill off an ecosystem in order to like
Yeah.
clear off or bring up these
Yeah,
artifacts.
and that's probably not too good for what's going on down there.
Yeah.
But now they're
Think of how much
reusable,
like buried treasure is in the ocean that we just can't really get to. One, because we don't know where it is, and two, because there's probably like plant life that's like overcome it, you
Yeah.
know? And you just have no clue.
That's what we should do. Someday we should get a metal detector
Yeah.
and do a metal detector podcast.
Yeah, we should do, that would be fun to do a metal detector podcast.
I gotta find me stuff.
Yeah.
We got carried away.
So the May 30th launch, we talked about the 2 astronauts, and so what they actually rode in is called the Crew Dragon, which is a space capsule that was on top of the Falcon 9 rocket.
Yeah.
So the rocket shoots up, and then once they got into Earth's orbit, the capsule or the Crew Dragon basically breaks off, and it has its own engine. Yeah. So that's what the 2 astronauts were actually in.
And it must be so cool to
Yeah.
eventually open up the front of that and have it be the link between the capsule and the space station, and they think, and then the people go in. It's
Yeah.
the
Well, what's
entry is
cool about
awesome.
that too is when they were linking up with the space station, they said that the ship was so smooth and that the
Yeah.
linking was so smooth that the astronauts didn't even realize they were connected.
Oh, really?
Like, they obviously knew they were in the process of connecting, but they couldn't actually like tell if they were docked or not until, I'm sure their systems told them, but they said they didn't even feel it because it was so smooth.
You hear them knocking. Like, hey guys, you're here.
And
What?
And when I watched like the launch on YouTube.
Yeah.
And
I watched it live.
You did watch it live. I was out swimming for the day. But
no, Kelly told me she would catch up when she got back.
yeah. So what was cool
Freaking
was,
awesome.
and I mean, I guess you kind of just expect this from Elon Musk, but they were talking about how high tech the inside of it was, and they were saying,
screens.
yeah, that's so cool.
It was awesome. It's like you have your iPad here.
Yeah.
And you're like controlling things via touch and
Yeah.
the gloves and the suits and.
I mean, it
it's just
should be
fucking cool,
touchscreen.
man. It should be. It's easier.
But they were
Did you
saying,
see the old control panel?
yeah, like a million buttons, and there's probably so much more you can do having a touch screen as well, because you can like toggle between different like screens and stuff.
It's just so crazy to think like if you had a
more
touch screen
settings.
for your like your sink.
That would be cool.
Water on. Hot water.
It would have to be extremely waterproof, but that wouldn't be too hard.
The sink touch screen thing would have to be waterproof. Duh. Yeah.
And their seats.
That'd be funny if it wasn't.
The seats
Yep.
like rotated.
Oh really?
How cool is that? Yeah. So they were like,
Ah.
I don't know if that's a new thing or not, but the news person was talking about it, so I'm assuming it's a new thing
didn't
where
know.
like the seats were.
They lean back.
They must have used to just been like stationary or something, but yeah. So they like when they were launching
I hope I don't fall
up,
backwards.
and then they rotated forward once they were level.
You're like this.
So very cool.
You're like going up. Yep. I'm going.
So crazy. And yeah, so what's cool about the Crew Dragon 2 is it can fly automatically. So it was
Autopilot.
Yeah, it was autopilot and it was automated to connect with the space station, but I think they were saying that they did while they were in space they did test out the controls.
I think so.
Yeah.
But they also, I see on here that you said that from flight to launch to orbit took 12 minutes.
Yeah.
I think I read on the speedometer thing when they were doing it live that they reached 27,000 miles an hour.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's why it took 12.
Imagine sustaining that. I mean, you're in a ship that's built
Yeah.
for it, but it's just crazy to even think that we can build things
1,000
that are that
miles an
strong.
hour. Yeah, just that's why
Yeah.
you see it going up so slow.
Yeah.
But it's like fucking going
Fast, I know.
It's building speed.
It's crazy.
Big engines. What?
But it's really exciting because the first time that humans were launched from U.S. soil since 2011.
Yeah.
For the past pretty much 10 years, we've been completely reliant on Russian space program to get our astronauts into space.
Mm-hmm.
So very cool.
Absolutely.
What's cool too, Jordan and I were talking about this yesterday, because I was like, it's so surprising to me that they would work with the Russians to get astronauts into space.
Mm-hmm.
But then we were talking and we were like, you know what? Scientists aren't political.
No.
Even when they work for different governments and stuff, it's like they're just about the science.
They're focused on what they're focused on.
And they're focused on their mission, which I think is really cool. It's kind of like how math is like the universal language.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I feel like science is kind of like that too.
Yeah, because before the SPACEX, they would be like talking back and forth to each other, saying like, is my arithmetic correct? And they're doing the stuff on their end, and over
Like helping
in space,
each other out.
They're doing the arithmetic in space. People on, Earth are doing the arithmetic. Hey, what does yours come out to be? Hey, what does ours come out to be? Oh no, it's wrong. Okay, we got to do something different. Okay, both are right. Cool. It's just nuts.
I love it. It's awesome.
It's awesome if I can understand it.
Right? That would be great.
But yeah. Sunday morning. The Crew Dragon.
Like a mini spider in my hair.
Mini spider. Oh no.
I think I got it out.
It's your pet now. Yeah, Crew Dragon docked with the ISS Sunday morning.
Yeah, so it didn't take them, well, I don't know how long it normally takes, but it took them,
A little bit.
yeah, because they gotta wait to basically be in orbit with each other.
Yeah.
And as of right now, there's no exact return date, but it's going to be somewhere between the next 6 to 16 weeks. So,
I feel a little drizzles.
feel a couple drops. That's all right.
A couple drizzles don't bother
It's actually
us.
kind of nice because
It is, because it's a little warm out.
it's warmer than we were expecting
The
it to be.
humidity.
Yeah.
Humidity.
It's going to start raining a lot.
I doubt it. I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't think it was supposed to rain today. It's a few drops coming, but
All right.
I guess if it starts coming,
We'll go.
Wrap
We'll
it
start going.
yeah.
His next big mission is to send an unscrewed spacecraft to Mars. The goal
Oh,
is to do this.
I meant to write uncrewed.
Yeah, unscrewed. An uncrewed.
An unscrewed
Yeah,
spacecraft
that's
to
how I
Mars.
read it.
He's
That
just
was-
gonna send it in pieces.
Yeah, he's just gonna send pieces. But by 2022, humans. He wishes to put humans on Mars and terraform the land. We are many years, if not decades, or more away from being ready for this.
That-
So, yeah,
that's
sounds
my-
pretty good.
That's my personal opinion.
Yeah,
Not just
20
my personal opinion, but
I thought he was gonna be ready to do stuff like 2025.
well, that's what he says he's ready to do. But when you hear about it from some other scientists,
Maybe he's just being really optimistic.
I think a part of it is optimism. I think it depends on what they're trying to do as well, because there's several different opinions on when we would be ready to go to Mars and what we would do on Mars, because a lot of people are saying in order to make Mars's atmosphere livable, to be more Earth-like, you would have to basically drop nuclear bombs on the ice caps, which would melt the ice caps, and then it would release a ton of methane gas and carbon dioxide into the air, so it would create a denser and warmer atmosphere like Earth. And it would create flowing water too, because you'd be melting all the ice caps. But if we were to do that, it would take hundreds of years for that land to then be livable.
Right.
Said what you want to do with Mars. I think if you want to basically build,
He wants to colonize it.
if you want to build basically, like if you want to colonize it and build all these indoor, which obviously they're going to build
Yeah.
indoor spaces, but you would have to build indoor farms and stuff.
I think that's his thing. He's
That
going to do
must-
that first.
Yeah, that must be Elon Musk's goal, because a lot of like other scientists that talk about if you want to make Mars livable, where you can do plant life and stuff
Yes.
like that, and plant in the soil, because they're like the soil can grow a lot of things. They believe, obviously it hasn't been completely tested yet. But I know that there was like a group of scientists who tried to replicate Mars's soil to the best of their ability with the knowledge that we have, and then they grew like, I forget how many plants, but it might have been like 100 different types of like plants and vegetable life, and almost all of them grew like pretty well, like especially like carrots and like certain vegetables and stuff. I know there's that bee that's hanging around you. Oh God. Oh God.
It's okay. We can keep talking. You can keep talking.
I hate bees.
I don't even know where he is.
I think he went away.
Oh,
Okay.
he's behind me.
Ah,
I hear him.
ah,
Oh, he's
ah.
coming over to you.
I hate bees.
I was just kidding.
Oh God.
Kelly's freaking out.
So yeah, I think Elon's idea is not really to plant necessarily in the Mars soil. I think he wants to basically, but
Why don't we just call him?
yeah, let's just call him. Let's see, what's your plan with all of this?
Yeah.
But I
Let's
don't
get a
really
phone
understand
interview.
why you're gonna move there if you're not planning.
What?
The bee.
He's not even real. Where is he? He's not around you? Oh, he's down here. Oh, leave him alone. He's fine.
I hate these so much.
Have a drink.
That won't help me. It doesn't matter.
That will.
I have my peppermint oil.
Oh, was that?
I read this thing online.
Get in camera. With your
Where'd it
peppermint
go?
oil. Show everybody your peppermint oil. Are you?
It's like holy water.
It's like.
I read this thing
The power of
online,
Christ
and my
compels
friend
you.
was telling me
The
that
power of Christ.
peppermint oil, bees hate the scent of peppermint oil, so I've been bringing it outside with me. Yeah.
Give me peppermint oil.
Oh. Maybe he'll go away now. Let's see if it works, because he was like hanging all around you. Oh my god, he completely flew away.
He left.
It worked.
He smelled peppermint oil.
It worked, because it's like pretty strong right now, and he instantly flew away. He was hanging around you for like the past 2 minutes.
Just
and
chilling.
you guys probably couldn't see, but he
was,
literally,
like, right
as
here.
soon as you put that on, he zoomed off that way.
I could have eaten him.
Wow, I feel so much
He was
better
so
now.
close to my face. I could have just, like dogs.
It's an irrational fear. I know it is. I just can't help it.
That's so funny.
It's probably my biggest fear, besides dying.
Hey,
Or being,
I'm the
like,
one who
stabbed
used
to
to
death.
carry an EpiPen on me because I was so severely allergic.
To bees?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
I'm not allergic to bees. They're just
I used
scary.
to, literally.
They're very menacing.
If I got stung by a bee, it was almost game over.
Jesus, is it
Not
still
so
like
much
that?
anymore. No.
Oh, okay.
I have like normal reaction to it now, but before I used to.
Damn, that's
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, it's bad. But so now that we've peppermint oil.
Yeah, peppermint
Apparently
oil.
bees.
That worked. You saw that though?
Yeah.
He like.
Because you were like fucking.
Yeah, I was. I'm gonna need to order another bottle of it.
And then as soon as I put it,
As soon as you put it on,
and I waved my arms
he
around the
literally
wall,
zoomed
he was like,
away.
I'm done.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but they don't like the smell of it.
Well, the butterfly seems to be enjoying it.
The butterfly is okay.
She's just chilling over in the grass.
But, okay.
So we might have to fast forward that whole segment.
Yeah, we might.
But where were we? We were
Okay, so that's my personal opinion.
Yes.
But I guess it depends on what we're trying to do or what Musk is trying to do, because if he's not trying to really... I guess it depends. If you're building indoor structures and you're not really having people go outside without a spacesuit on...
Yeah, but you don't need that many people to do that either.
Then, yeah, we can make it livable. But if you're trying to make it livable to the point where it's similar to Earth, you're going to have to terraform it.
So...
Which people wouldn't be able to be on the planet on then. If they were planning on terraforming it, can't really be on the planet for like hundreds of years because there would be so much radiation.
The name of the rocket that will be transporting people to the moon, to the Mars and beyond, is called Starship.
Yes.
And I like the fact that you put Starship with an exclamation point.
Where did I do that?
At the end, STARSH exclamation point P.
No, it's just an I.
Is that?
I think it's the rain.
It was the rain. I thought you put an exclamation mark.
I should have.
It was the rain. Damn it. But that's cool. It'll carry 100 passengers. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he say 100 and 200 passengers,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Plus, that supplies funding for the next. You know,
Yeah.
everybody's doing it. Okay, supply chain. Like,
Yeah, so
cool.
the idea is basically that the ship will be able to launch off of
yeah.
different planets or lunar surfaces without having to come back to Earth to refuel, which is really one of the biggest or the key aspects of it. So SpaceX, while they're building this Starship, they're also building what's called an ITS booster, which is basically a gas station that will launch with Starship and remain in Earth's orbit.
That's cool.
So, but it'll have its own ability to propel itself from Earth to Mars and back to bring extra fuel for the Starship.
Word.
Because they're trying to not pack, they're basically not putting extra fuel on Starship because they don't want to have to basically weigh it down with that. They want to be able to put more like materials and utilities
That makes sense,
on
like
it.
cargo.
Yeah, and cargo.
Makes sense.
But this starship is going to be pretty crazy. So it's basically going to be like a luxury cruise spacecraft
with movie theaters, lecture halls, really?
Yeah.
And a restaurant.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the thing that he wants to do with it, it's like when you hear that, you're like, oh, maybe it's going to land on Mars and then it'll be like their living facilities. It's not. He basically wants to make it so it travels back and forth to Earth pretty much like every 26 months. So basically like every
1,000 or more ships.
Yeah.
Every 26 months.
Yeah, so he eventually wants to build 1,000 or more starships and have them launch.
Every 2 years.
Yeah, not all at the same time, but basically like intermittently. And
we're gonna have space traffic.
It's basically gonna be like how flights are right now with air travel, but in space. That's how he envisions this. And so
you're gonna be saying hi to people.
Yeah. So Musk has said that initially the trip would take 80 days to travel, and he eventually wants to cut it down to 30. Whereas right now it takes 6 to 9 months. But we also haven't sent like a big spaceship with huge rockets to Mars. We've sent like rovers and stuff.
We're in the beginning. And as time goes by and more technology starts and more ideas, this is all, I think it's all pretty much like a legitimate idea for space travel between Earth and the International Space Station, the moon, Mars.
I would love to go
Saturn.
to the moon. That would be so cool.
We're probably going to be able to go to the vast majority of planets eventually. So it's going to be so weird for somebody to go first person to get on Mars, but we're also dealing with the other rocket companies. Like, we want to get there first.
Yeah.
Like the States.
Well, I think Elon's gonna, do that.
I mean, he's fucking proved himself over and over again. Having 3 failure launches, needing, scraping together enough money for a 4th, having that one successful. Rub it on your shirt.
There's water on it. I've been rubbing it on the jeans. There's water on my iPad, so the touchscreen isn't working.
Just rub it all over your body.
It's still not working. That's weird.
Mine's pretty.
I'm just gonna exit out of the app and reopen it. There we go.
There
we go. I think it's just the app. But so
it's pretty much the gist of what's going on there.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. So colonists too will actually have the option to come back if they want. That's basically his that's another big idea.
City. Yep.
Is he wants a sustainable city where you're not just basically you choose to go to Mars and then you're stuck there for life. He basically wants it to be you can choose to live there. You could go on a sabbatical there.
You could just go
sabbatical to Mars. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. I would do that if I was able to come back,
If you had the funds,
yeah,
you would be eligible to go.
I would totally do it. That would be so cool.
It would be awesome.
We could podcast on Mars.
That would be sick.
That would be sick. But he does want to make, with that in mind, he does want to make Mars a sustainable city where if something were to happen on Earth where we could no longer send ships to Mars, that they'd be able to survive on their own without Earth's help. So that's a really big thing, and he's talked about that in different articles where there's a lot of things to think about. And one of the things he was talking about, just an example, he had talked about vitamin C, because he was like, say for some reason we're no longer able to get ships to Mars and they run out of vitamin C. He was like, that is essential to live. If you don't have a healthy source of vitamin C, you'll die of scurvy. I don't know. I didn't know that. But apparently if you don't have vitamin C, you can die of scurvy. And he was saying that...
I don't know what scurvy is.
Slow and painful. I don't know. It used to be a thing that sailors would get all the time. So I figured it had something to do with being out on the ocean and stuff.
Not having...
But it must have been...
clean water? Or...
maybe not having clean water, but also maybe not having the proper sustenances.
Yeah.
And then being out on a ship for a really long time and not having
drinking
proper vitamins and stuff.
beer and all that other stuff, because I guess that's
And
all
not
they
having
had.
like proper
'Cause,
food.
yeah, but alcohol
with the,
and
like
stuff,
the
'cause
right
it was
balance,
clean. So.
right
But
diet
yeah.
balance.
I read that he would have Mars develop a direct democracy
Yeah.
where the colonists will be making decisions for themselves.
Yeah. Which is smart though, because if you have like outside influences, you know, like governments and politics, they're all gonna, I feel like it would happen where they'd be like, well, we want control of Mars, we want control of Mars, and you could, I don't know, you could wind up having war.
I didn't know this though. I didn't know that, the cargo and crew thing I knew, but 1 million people by 2050?
That's Musk's
Is that a
idea.
stretch, or is that like what he said?
That's what Musk said, but
2050?
I guess we'll see.
He also said within our lifetime.
Well, 2050 would be within our lifetime.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, we would hope.
Saying.
But
hey, did you?
so we'll see. That's Musk wants 1 million people on Mars by 2050. So we'll see if it happens.
Did you like
Be pretty cool.
Did you like the timeline?
Oh, I forgot to look at it.
You should look at it.
I'll look at it
Look
now.
at it here on yours.
I'll pull it up.
It's from 2001 till.
Yeah, maybe we could post.
2001 till 2019.
Oh, I don't have service on my iPad.
Oh, well then here, look at it. Here.
We can post a picture. I'll post a thing of it up. The timeline.
Yeah. Here, look at, it's from 2001. I mean, I did copy and paste a lot of it.
So in 2001, though, he came up with the idea of Mars Oasis. Wow.
Yeah.
So his experimental, he came up with an idea to land an experimental greenhouse containing seeds.
Yep. That's what I was saying about
on
the plants.
Mars.
That's why when you mentioned greenhouses and stuff, I was like, yep.
That's really cool. I didn't know that, but I know that there was a group of scientists on Earth who tried to, basically with what we know of the chemical composition of Mars, they tried to recreate the closest thing to Mars soil that they could using like ingredients on Earth. But the thing is with Mars is composed of a lot of ingredients that are similar to Earth. It has a similar day, like the length of the day is similar. It's like 24 hours and like 37 or 38 minutes. Temperatures are not the same, but out of all the planets, they're closer. But I know that they do kind of, because their atmosphere isn't as strong, they have like extreme highs and then extreme lows.
It's like medication.
Yeah, so that's like a big thing. But I mean, of all the planets, Mars is the most viable.
Yeah, absolutely. They know that there's been water on it. They've done soil tests.
One thing I was saying to Jordan yesterday, though, is as cool as it is and as much as I want us to go to Mars, I don't like this talk of people saying that, well, Earth is fucked, so we'll just go to Mars.
I think Earth is awesome.
I think Earth is awesome too, and it's like, have you seen Mars? It's going to require so much more work and effort to try to build life on Mars than it would be with the Earth that we have right now.
Except for the whole Ice Age thing.
What, the
previous Ice Age, the whole beginnings of Earth.
That's very
Remember
true.
The beginnings,
I know
the
the Earth does.
beginnings.
I know that the scientists do say that the Earth does go through different cycles and stuff, so we could potentially have like an extreme warm up and then an extreme cool down, like another ice age or something.
Yeah, exactly. But think of it this way: if we're able to if people on this Earth have billions of dollars and soon to be trillions of dollars, why do we still have third world countries?
We shouldn't.
We shouldn't have.
People shouldn't be allowed to
countries.
amass that amount of wealth unless they're going to do something good with it.
Well, yeah, they could take 10 million more and
which
help.
isn't even that much money for
like
them.
we're helping to colonize on fucking Mars.
Yeah.
We could also do some of that in different places on Earth.
Yeah.
That we
Absolutely. That's how I feel too. I think that it is I love space so much, and I think space exploration is a necessity, and I think it's amazing and it's something we should do, but I also think that people shouldn't just give up on the planet that we already live on, and that they should not only focus their efforts on space exploration, but like you said, if you're putting $10 million towards like space exploration, put $10 million towards renewable resources, clean energy.
On the we should look up the Forbes list of the top like 100 most wealthy people, or even top 10.
Yeah, we could do an episode on that.
We could, because the Amazon guy, Jeff Bezos,
yeah,
he's gonna hit $1 trillion soon.
It's insane.
And
yeah,
I'm
well,
not,
he
I'm
literally
not directly,
like
I'm not
he
even
doubled
directly,
his net worth in like the first, I think it said
the
like the
virus.
first like couple weeks of the virus, which is crazy.
It is crazy, but like put that into perspective of
doubled
like
his net worth.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I mean, I would love it to be that simple, but Amazon's huge. Other companies.
I wish I invested in Amazon back in the day. Like shit.
Well, if you
or even a couple years ago,
you would be a multi-millionaire, probably like 25 million or so, if you invested $100 into Uber when it came out.
It's crazy. I know.
Are you going?
Yeah.
Oh, hi everybody. Jordan from the Tipsy Informants. So we had 2 successful launches, but we only had 1 successful retrieval due to a little bit of wind and a tree.
We want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe.
Absolutely.
Follow us on Instagram. We're going to try to be better about posting on there.
Oh.
And we will see you guys in the next one.
And it's time for a drink. So,
yes.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.